Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're doing another seasonal championship. This one is called Getting Cold Street. Play on words of getting cold feet, but obviously because it's winter we've got cold streets out here. And yeah, we're going to be in A-class modern sports cars. And yeah, we're getting there in the latest car to be added by the festival playlist, the Riser Tachyon Speed, which is easily one of the most powerful cars we've had on this game. It's an electric car at that, so yeah, very impressive. But yeah, you can win the Audi TT RRS in this championship, which is one of the cars I'll be able to actually pick from. So let's look at the races and see where we're going to be driving in. So we've got the Alfa Romeo 4C, which is a great car, the Alpine A110, which is a great car, the Audi TTS, which I just said that you can win in this championship, which is decent. I've never been the biggest of fans of Audi TTs, but they are decent sports cars. And then 3 Z4s, with the 2008 version being my favourite, then the newer version, and then the 2011 version, which I wasn't particularly a fan of, but yeah, I love the 08 version, and the latest version is pretty damn good as well. It's the most powerful of the 3. Then we've got the Eagle Speedster, a couple of Lotuses, which share the same engine, as you can see, but the Exige is easily the lighter of the 2. Then the big V8 SLK 55, along with another V8 in the form of the Morgan Aero Supersports, which doesn't quite have as much power as the SLK, but definitely weighs less, and is also weirdly 50-50 weight distribution for both of them, despite being radically different cars. Then the Nissan 370Z, which again, like the Audi TT, I've never been a big fan of. As well as the Porsche Cayman GTS, to be honest. I think they're a little bit on the boring side, but at least the Cayman is lighter than the Nissan. And then the absolutely wonderful VX220, which is, I think, the least powerful car here, but is also the lightest as well, I think. And yeah, it has probably one of the best chassis and some of the best grip on out of any of the cars here. So we're going to get in, actually the 4C's 2072. Just checking. Even the 4C isn't as light as the VX220, and that is actually billed as being a lightweight sports car. So there we go. We're going to get in the Alpine A110. I know I've probably used it in a championship before, but I absolutely adore this car. It's got the classic styling, but isn't a massive retread over the original. As it's got way more in the way of power and handles far better than many other sports cars from the 2010s, and it's not quite as lightweight as, say, the Alfa Romeo, but I think you get the additional benefit of some, quality in terms of the interior because of the extra in the way of weight, whereas the Alfa Romeo, as I have seen in many a video, is quite cheap on the inside, which, when you consider how much it costs, is really not on, quite frankly. But this Alpine is definitely a far more luxurious sports car, but still extremely lightweight compared to most, and everyone's crashed into the back of a snowplow there, which obviously I went into as well, but I have got the better end of it because I've at least been able to get up to 4th. Everyone else is ploughing into the back of that. I just thought everybody had slowed down for a corner or something. I didn't think they'd all ploughed into the back of a snowplow, ironically. We don't have the most power out of any car here, and the Audi does have more power than us, and the all-wheel drive system is going to give it the additional grip in these wintry conditions, but we're still far from slow, which, when you consider we've only got a 1.8 engine, is again really nice that they've been able to get this amount of power out of a small engine, but it still sounds good. The big risk with a lot of cars that have a lot of power but from small engines is that the turbocharger just robs it of any nice engine noise. But that isn't the case with this, thankfully. At least on these less snowy roads, we're going to be more agile than, say, the far heavier Audi. See, we're catching up to the Audi, though. Well, we would have done if we didn't hit an entire brick wall there, or a stone wall. we just have far better steering, far better grip in this than the Audi does. Even though that does have all-wheel drive, it does make it understeer a fair old bit. Plus we're mid-engined, whereas the Audi is front-engined, meaning that we have even less weight up front to deal with. Personally would have liked them to have kept it rear-engine like the original car, but I imagine they wanted to just make it as practical as possible. Because it has such a small engine that you're going to be able to get it in the middle of the car. Plenty of boot space to spare. Just think if they did put it in the rear, it would have made it a far more unique car than it already is. But it helps set apart from other cars because it has such a small engine, because it's so lightweight, and because it has that classic styling. But we're only going to have to deal with second place with the Alpine there. Obviously it didn't help that we had those couple of crashes to deal with, not just a snowplow, but obviously we had to avoid a car going into the back of a Land Rover. So yeah, but still, second place is good. But the Alfa Romeo 4C, the car that is the competitor to this, because it is also a lightweight, small engine sports car, yeah, was well ahead of us. But nonetheless, second place is a good start. So let's get on to the second race. So the Alpine there probably didn't give us a win, but it was a really fun car to drive, and yeah, I still maintain it's one of the best sports cars over the last few years. But we're going to go for something a little bit older. We're going to go for the Z4M Coupe, because yeah, even though it is 13 years old now, this can still do 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, which is fast by even today's standards, let alone 13 years ago. And I still think it's a really good looking car as well, even though I would prefer the convertible version over the hardtop. But yeah, still got 330 horsepower, 3,296 pounds in weight, bang on 50-50 weight distribution and it has a lovely 3.2 litre inline 6 naturally aspirated engine, which is an absolutely glorious engine. And yeah, it's not quite as powerful as say the Z4 from 2011, and far less powerful than the Z4 from 2019. But yeah, it's the second lightest of the two, and yeah, to be honest, I think it's a better looking of the three, and yeah, it's also got the best sounding engine as well, because yeah, no turbochargers are on this, and that is always a good thing. So let's see what it can do. Really wish we did get the options to have convertible versions of hardtops on this game, or at least on a future Forza game. Yeah, 8,000 RPM rev limit. So it's absolutely glorious. It's really well balanced as well. You can have all the confidence in the world that you can stick it into a corner and it will hang on in there. And because it's naturally aspirated, you've got no turbo lag or worry of being low revs and down on power, because it will get up to its revs easily. Even though it's nowhere near as light as the Alpine, it's still a fairly light car for a, you know, a 13-year-old vehicle. Back when carbon fibre was still the you know, the exclusive kind of material for supercars and hypercars. This is still really rather lightweight. Fiat in front of us has been upgraded to get into this class, but outside of the rather dull engine note on that, that is also a really good sports car. Lotus, I think they're trying to push me off the road. It's one thing the driver always gets wrong is braking on that bit. No need. Sorry, Fiat. And because it is bang on 50-50 weight distribution, you can have a lot of sideways fun with this, but being safe in the knowledge that it will be able to come back. Yeah, there we go. Cracking win with the Z4 there, and really glad it has done, because I really do adore that vehicle. Might not be quite as modern or high-tech as the Alpine, but yeah, it's definitely a quicker car. And yeah, now have 2 points ahead of the second place, another Z4. The Abarth 124 is in third, then an Audi TT-S in fourth, the one that you can actually win, and then another Z4 from 2008 in fifth. So yeah, let's nonetheless get on to the third and final race. So one of my favourite cars out of this championship there, giving us a win, so let's go with something different from someone else, perhaps. It is tempting to go for the Morgan, because I do really like that car. It's well balanced, it's got a huge amount of power from its glorious 4.8 litre V8, but I don't think it's got quite the legs for in comparison to some cars on this championship. I mean, look at the egregious acceleration compared to the Aero Super Sports there. And if you compare it to the two cars that we've chosen before, the Alpine A110 has 6.9, and then the Z4 also has 6.6 actually. I really am tempted to go for it, but I really want to go for the VX220 as well, which, as you can see, has even more in the way of acceleration, and even better in handling as well, because it weighs so little and yet has a decent amount of power going for it. We'll go for the Morgan. It's the less obvious choice, and it's probably going to ruin my chances, but I do love it. I know it's got odd looks, and it's far from the most sought after kind of vehicle, but I can't deny that I like it. Wish we had more from Morgan, to be honest, on these games. It's got a long and varied history, and it'd be nice to have that, you know, represented. Certainly quicker than I thought it would be. It has been a while since I've actually driven this. Love its engine though. Oopsie. Well, the Audi did the same thing as me by the looks of it. Correct that mistake there. Yeah, the traffic on these street races does play havoc, as we have seen in the first race. I did not see that Volkswagen there. Too busy concentrating on the Lotus. Really got to be thinking of several different things while racing on street races. Got to think of your opponents, your traffic, and obviously your own car. And you can't depend on your driving lines either, because they are usually, well, the traffic cars at least, are usually right on it. Doesn't help when others crash into those AI cars and stop them dead in the middle of the road. The Audi would have continued on forwards and given us the driving line if it hadn't been hit. Certainly the more old school kind of car here, despite not being the actual oldest here. But we've certainly got one of the most powerful engines on this championship. It's only really, I think, the modern BMW that has the modern BMW Z4 that has even more. This weighs less. Can we at least get third in this final bit? Not likely. Well, we were gaining on the Nissan, but yeah, unfortunately 4th place is all we're going to get out of the Morgan there. Would have probably been better had we had not that crash into the Audi traffic car, but that couldn't be helped. So yeah, but we still come first. The Nissan 370Z has drawn alongside us for points, but I think because we actually won a race and that car didn't, that's why we get the lead. And then a Mazda MX-5 from 2013, which again has also been upgraded like the Fiat from the previous race, has landed in 3rd, a Lotus Exige S in 4th, and a Subaru BRZ in 5th, which has also been upgraded. So yeah, pretty fun championship that. I do like a lot of those cars that we had to choose from, but those 3 that I did choose from are probably my favourite of the bunch. But yeah, there are plenty of vehicles to choose from, a nice wide variety, which is always good to see. And yeah, it will go towards your 50% festival playlist overall to get that riser tachyon speed that we were in at the beginning of the episode. So yeah, well worth doing this championship even if you don't want the Audi that you win. So yeah, regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.